Sioux Empire Podcast 139, Mitch Bartlett from Sioux Falls Central.
A pathless wilderness, wild, rugged, that was South Dakota. A hardy frontier, far from the paths of civilization.
Why die on Mars when you can live in South Dakota?
Where fortune beckoned with a glittering smile.
I was hauling pigs on the interstate. You were in a red car having a problem with your shirt.
And life hung on the quickness of a trigger finger.
Podcast Palooza.
The Sioux Empire Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Sioux Empire Podcast. This is the Sioux Empire Podcast, the quirky but harmless podcast that's all about Sioux Empire news, comedy, music, and culture. I am your host, Robert Mailing, and joining me as always is co-gunner Seth Glover.
Like my shirt, I believe that we can iron out these issues with North Korea. We just have to get an iron.
Well played, sir. Also with us, glad to have back Natasha Estes, or Natasha Burry.
Bring the cheese.
Showing my age. She got married recently. So.
6 months ago today, yay! Happy anniversary!
Happy 6-month anniversary, then.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How are you and the Cheese Man doing?
We are doing great, me and the Cheese Man.
Awesome. And also joining us is Mitch Bartlett from Sioux Falls Central. How you doing, Mitch?
Not bad. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk with Mitch in a little bit here, but first we're going to dive straight into this week's headlines. So, you guys have heard of this global warming thing, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess, sorry,
Sir, I can go
climate
outside and pick up some snow right now, so...
Therefore, the sun does not exist.
Now.
There's so much fucking snow.
You know, like the sun goes down, and then is it going to come back up? I don't know, because I can't see it. How do we know it was ever real?
Dude, Rob, the sun goes in a spiral or a circle up and down this line in the middle, and see the NASA, which means lies. It's not an acronym. It means lies. Their map or NATO or whatever it is a code in plain sight for the flat Earth. Don't you read these conspiracy?
I know. Wake up, sheeple.
You've been watching Joe Rogan podcast too, because I'm with you.
Yeah, after that Alex Jones interview this week, I'm kind of like, yeah.
That
was nuts.
I went down rabbit holes that were just, oh my god, my entire brain is wrecked now. It's really just like, there's things that you just shouldn't invest 8 hours into,
Nope.
Especially not consecutively.
Or you end up as a crazy person screaming on Joe Rogan about, like, you know, the frogs turning gay.
Or you don't, and you're just a crazy person screaming about...
Without the income.
Yeah, without anything, yeah. Only your neighbors are watching.
Yeah. And the local law enforcement watching very closely for warning signs.
This is literally my ex.
There you go.
Wow. First-hand experience.
Yeah.
So, let's get to our first story here, which, you know, leading in with that, I guess it's not global warming anymore. Now they call it climate change. My bad. That's not it's not hip with the kids anymore to say the global warming.
The times and the phrases are a-changing, right? They
are with the young. I'm very hip. I'm fleek with the young people, you see. So I gotta keep up on that lingo.
Yeah.
YOLO.
To changes, man. There's a reference that you'll get. That's more your time. Ooh.
Anyway, so according to a paper published...
Climate change, are we for it? Is that where...
Oh, yes. Are we for climate change? Thoughts?
There's a lot of snow out there. And if that's a hotter climate...
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Well, that's how I started it. As I was going to go into the story pitching... Well, let me explain the story first to the listeners. According to a paper published in the Journal of Nature Communications by researchers from the University of Maryland and North Carolina State University, within 50 years, we will have the climate of, and then they have like a line on the map showing, because it's basically like the heat levels will go up out from the equator. So basically they're saying that in 50 years, Sioux Falls will have the climate of, what was Sideras, Kansas? Or, yeah, some middle of nowhere place in the middle of Kansas. And so that's what kind of basically they're saying that's the weather patterns we're going to have in 50 years, as opposed to the weather patterns we have right now, which really at this point I feel like we should roll the dice. Or that's the way I was going to go into it. I was going to say we should roll the dice because we have nothing to fucking lose on climate, really, except as I'm like reading into the article and it's listing all the like terrible stuff, like terrible famine because of the, crops are gonna die, boo, and it's like not like we're farmers or anything, but just nobody tell Christy Nome that. But anyway, so I was kind of on board with some of the idea that it's warming, but then the article reminded me of some of the consequences of us getting that much warmer here, because we'd be like 20 degrees higher. So, first off, ice storms rather than snowstorms would be frequent. And honestly, I would rather have the snowstorms than the freezing rain ice storms where everything's a sheet and I wipe out and slide underneath my own car.
Chaos. Yeah. I can't do that shit at all.
And they're always breaking power lines and shit. I can't stand that kind of weather. So, let's see. The other thing that, harvest season is a little earlier, much earlier, I guess, which I'm just I'm okay with that, because I remember harvest's always going super, super late. And yeah, if that means planting season is early too, I'm just we could, that doesn't sound that bad. But here's where they get me. Termites and poisonous spiders such as the brown recluse and black widow would inhabit this region. Because right now our cold is what kills those fuckers off. So I'm thinking we gotta cool the Earth. If we could stage a nuclear winter somehow, India and Pakistan get cracking, and lower the Earth's temperature and get it even colder here to keep the that shit south, that'd be great.
There's a reason that I don't live in Florida and it's fucking reptiles. And you know what? There is a way to kill them cold-blooded bastards, and that's
a good point. I go to Florida and I always hate it because it's I sweat I could be in an air conditioned building in Florida, and it's just everything is so humid. It's just all the time. I'm just the last trip I took there, they were having swamp fires too. So it was downtown Orlando was just smoke, you could almost couldn't see your hand in front of your face, thick. And I left the state, and I was just telling everyone, I was just I know what Florida is now. Florida is a burning swamp that is slowly sliding underneath the ocean. It's it's a total wasteland. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that, and I don't want the much higher humidity they say we'd have if we were Kansas. So, drive in Prius, I guess, is what is the moral of that story. I don't.
Prius will keep it cooler. Okay, I suppose.
Well, no. Yeah. Well,
I don't know about that, but I don't know.
I think our grand thesis statement here is that climate change is bad.
Yeah, it's going to be.
You heard it here definitively. I mean, it's been hotly debated all over the country, but the Sioux Empire podcast is here to definitively tell you that climate change is bad.
For me, I don't want to get warm everywhere and reptiles being everywhere because, I already think I haven't been back to Florida since I was 2. It's not for this reason, but there's a reason that I want to go there, and that's because I'd never used public plumbing, any sort of that. Too many goddamn pythons.
Oh, yeah, the snakes getting on the guy's junk thing. That happens, all the time.
2 or 3 stories, so yeah, it happens, every day then, because if you only hear about that many, I don't know, man. I've heard about it too many times.
And you know how crazy people from Florida are anyway? It's just imagine I imagine a map of the U.S. and there's a crazy line, and that line just sliding further north.
It's because of the reptile brains and they're so saturated in this one I don't know.
And then we always go with my mom's theory that the cold just kills all the stupid ones that wander up north, and I'm just what are you talking about, Mom? People? I'm just oh. My mom's in favor of genocide. Awesome. Great. I'm going to sleep good tonight. Apparently, I was one of the good ones.
I mean, is killing off a person based on their temperate... Never mind. Let's not go down that route. Anyway,
You're saying don't steer into the genocide that joke was leading to?
I don't know. Could you call it a genocide if you're basing it upon where the people like prefer to live, like
yes.
cold or warm?
That's like the definition.
Like a eugenics type thing.
Yeah. It's getting into a social Darwinism thing. Anyway,
okay.
I think we've beat this dead horse and dead reptiles to death. So let's move on to the next story. This is a story about keeping people alive, and it's right here in Sioux Falls. This is all about how drunk driving arrests drop after Lyft's arrival. But are there really few drunk drivers? ? The Argus leader asks. So, for the first time in years, the city's police officers were close to making fewer than 1,000 arrests for drunk driving. Ultimately, the city finished just north of that, but just by a stone's throw, with 1,009 for the entire year.
10 people.
Yeah, you fucked us there. Just like, should just extra beat those guys in the like drunk tank, because you know they do.
Well, I don't think that, but I think that they should be a little bit more shamed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are we talking shamed as in just like should just be like, oh, come on now? Are we talking shamed Game of Thrones style where they like force them to walk through the streets and we throw things at them?
On Facebook Live, yeah.
Yes, that's the equivalent, isn't it? Nice. Wait, not nice. That's terrible. Jesus, what am I endorsing?
That's a good thing.
Okay, but that number represented the lowest in more than a decade, and according to the Argus Leader analysis of arrest data, was a 23% decline in the average number of arrests made for driving while impaired since 2007, when police made 1,537 arrests. So it's significant, but if you click in the article and you look at the year-to-year numbers, the numbers between like 2011 and 2012 are like... 2011, it was only like 1,009 people, and then the next year it's like, or no, it was like the year before was almost like 2,000 people, and then the year after it was like a drop of like 400 DUI arrests in 1 year, and it was like way bigger than this, and I'm just kind of like, so it's like, I don't know, I went into this thinking that the Lyft effect must be real, like being very not skeptical, well, not, like not dumb about it, but being like, no, I believe that Lyft is, reducing that number. But then you see the past numbers, it's like, it's actually kind of like a pretty regular fluctuation for the DUI stuff. So maybe. The thing is, below 1,000 is historic, or like, getting very close to some historic numbers. And then the other thing they were saying is that it was at the same time that the grant money for saturation patrols in downtown for DUI dropped off.
Right.
So
that
reduced while Lyft came into effect, and then it had the same effect as if they had had way more grant money to pick up people.
That's my first question is, between the year, with 2,000 arrests and this year, how many, coordinated stops were there for drunk driving in that year? And I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least twice, I don't know, a significant number more in the one with more arrests. I think that's got to be a factor, huge factor.
Sure. Anybody else have any input on that before we?
I'd like to see the numbers for planned stops at checkpoints. Just that would tell you something.
That would be interesting. Because it's curious because they didn't have those numbers in the article, but it's just like, you wonder how much the saturation patrols are actually what picks up the DUIs and how much is just, someone driving.
Let's be honest, in Sioux Falls, you can find, if a policeman wanted to find 20 drunk drivers on a given day, they probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing weirded me out about this article was I think they were talking, it was with one of the Lyft drivers who was like, basically gave someone a lift from a bar to their home, and then 3 hours later gave that same person a lift back to their car because they're like, I gotta bring my car home. And he's like, she's clearly still like intoxicated. And I'm just like, I'm bringing her back to get her car. And then there's a quote from him that's like, that's why I just stayed parked in the parking lot and was just like, I'm glad I'm just parked here while she takes off. Or I'm just like, shouldn't you? Isn't that like a reportable thing or like something you should like say something to someone about? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's against Lyft policy to like, maybe Lyft has like a code of silence.
I don't know.
They don't.
No. Okay.
Yeah, my fiance is a Lyft driver, and so I haven't seen any training to indicate that. There's not real good training on... well, she did say one thing, basically. If you rate the person under 3 stars, you'll never have to pick them up again. So there's that. So if you run into a creeper, but if you run into a drunk person, I don't think there's a way that you can flag them. And that's a tough one. I mean, they were smart enough to get a ride home in the first place, so...
And sober up for a little bit and then go get the car? Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. It just seems like that's a heavy burden to put on a Lyft driver's shoulders. To ask them, like, hey, you know what? These taxi cab drivers that weren't, you know, doing this before, were never
Congratulations, you're all now officially, like, police informants as well as Lyft drivers.
Police informants, police, like... negotiators, you know, like de-escalators, like, I mean...
You go ahead, Natasha. You don't have to raise your...
Yeah, I'm not going to do the interrupt thing, because that's just rude. No, but just... No, I have more than I would like, you know, experience with the drunk drivers, where they were, you know, other people. And I don't think you should, you know, of course, you know, like, tattle kind of thing, if it's oh, this person, you know, is, you know, they went home and then they came back, like, are you doing the breathing test on the person? But at the same, you get all into whole, like, law enforcement, blah 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 blah, all that kind of fun stuff that, you know, everyone already knows about. But at the same time, I don't want them on there, you know, bothering me and injuring me, so, again.
So you think they should report them, but not you, basically?
No, not exactly. I just kind of think they should be shot with something. Even if it's just like a camera, or...
Or a tranquilizer gun.
Or something.
I missed that day of Lyft training. It's like, here's your sidearm. What?
Just...
It's not a bad idea, folks. Maybe not a gun, but, you know, a stun gun. Or mace.
There you go.
If you're a Lyft driver, there's creepos out there.
That's true. That's a whole other can of worms.
It is, but we're not here to talk about creepy Lyft drivers or passengers. We're here to talk about the maybe reduction of drunk drivers, although not really, because like you said, almost at any time a cop could go out there and pull somebody over, and there's going to be somebody drunk, like probably right now,
pretty sure,
driving. Yeah, in Sioux Falls, for sure. Probably 20, like, at least.
Okay,
so...
I want a bigger car and I can run them over and you can, like, take that over. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's not a bad strategy, you know. You drive around in a bus, nobody's gonna no drunk driver's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, we're going to the 90s model of vehicles where everyone just drives a bigger and bigger vehicle to the point that everyone's driving like a Super Fortress tank around, and it's like, fender bender is like, oh, that's okay. My car was like, you know, an acre wide, so it's fine.
Hey, my car's fine. Yours is fucked, but you ran into me, so I'm not gonna. I'm good.
And gas is less than $1 a gallon. It's glorious. What's your mileage? 0 city, Highway 1.
The 1974 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah.
Nice, yes.
Big as a house.
Yeah, I was thinking from the 90s and those gas mileage, it was my folks' Excursion, the Ford Excursion. That was the one that was like, whenever they do a news report about how shameful American waste and like a consumption was, it was always like the Ford Excursion was the example. And meanwhile, Mom's like, I love that car. It's so nice. There's so much room. It's got room for all the grandkids.
Plymouth Fury. It's interesting that you said that, because I've actually drove Plymouth Fury because my sister's first husband was turning it into a demolition derby car.
Ooh.
They're perfect for that.
It is.
So before it was like turned into that, I drove it for a second, and oh man, they're so, like you said, dude, boat on wheels, man.
No safety belts.
Oh no, you don't need them, man. The other people need them.
So the next story I've got on here is just a quick one that USD law students change party theme after Hawaiian Day was deemed culturally insensitive. So I don't know if you've heard much about this, but the Student Bar Association of the USD Law School changed the name of their event to Beach Day. University's Director of Marketing and Communications and University Relations, geez, that's a title, said that law school's interim administration advisor to the student... Jesus Christ, they use a lot of words. Anyway,
Damn.
so basically,
College.
bunch of law students wanted a Hawaiian party, and someone filed a complaint saying it was racist. So now that they have to call it a beach party, and they can't officially distribute leis. Like, they bought a bunch of leis and they can't officially distribute them. But there is also no rule that no one can show up, or no one can, like, not wear a lei during the party. It's like, real. It's nice. USD gives them that measure of freedom that it's like, well, we won't tell you exactly what you must wear during this party. I'm just gonna, like, so is this gonna be like, eventually like the town from Footloose, where it's just like, no dancing, no singing, no, music is forbidden here.
In 20 years, there's gonna be photos resurfacing, and this was a trap, and they took photos of the individuals that showed up in leis and
and it ruined their, like, careers and stuff like that.
They run for governor, they'll come out.
Just like despicable.
No more Hawaiian shirt day at work, I guess, anymore.
I know. I guess it's a tropical shirt now, isn't it?
Tropical shirt.
You just have to come.
Flower shirt.
So it's just like, it's just PCness run amok, but I noticed it. And especially because, like, the legislature had another one of these, like, campus freedom of speech bills or whatever that I always usually am like, oh, come on, let's have some real issues, and, I don't really care that much about, but I'm just kind of like, this kind of makes that guy's point a little bit, because that's trying to usually pass that bill. It once again failed this year, but I'm just like, I'm wondering next cycle if that's something that's going to, like, come up. Oh, I love the phone case, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So Mitch has a phone case that looks like an original Nintendo controller. It's
Everybody asks me if I could really play the Nintendo on it, and I can't, unfortunately. But yeah,
it still looks cool.
My wife got it for me.
Nice. So, the moment that everyone's been looking forward to here, Jim Sideras. Ooh. So, the former Sioux Falls Fire Rescue Chief. Well, come on, guys. If you've been on social media or the internet in the Sioux Falls area, you know what's up here. So, not going to serve a day in jail. He's going to basically no prison time. Gets like 60 days in jail, but he can serve it on house arrest under electronic monitoring. So he will literally not see the inside of a cell for child pornography. While at the same time, and this is the meme that exploded that everybody on the Sioux Empire page shared and, like, reacted to, is the image of the front page of the Argus Leader from yesterday, which was the giant headline about Sideras serving no jail time for, child porn. And then right next to that is, man sentenced to 10 years in prison for small amount of weed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right next to each other.
What I was going to say was, so he was given a suspended 6-year sentence and 6 years probation. So if he fucks up, which, come on, how likely is it that he's going to do that in the next 6 years, he's an old dude that's not got a lot going on, and he's sad. But, so... hopefully, it'd be cool if he did get in trouble, because then, there's a little bit more punishment, but...
My big thing is just, like, if you or I or anybody did a crime like that, and rightfully so, if somebody did something like that, they'd throw the book at you. But but this guy's, like, connected. He probably, like, golfs with the judge or some shit. There was even a lot of talk that they technically should have moved it out of Sioux Falls. Like change of jurisdiction or whatever because of the...
There's a real thing that South Dakota and judges just think that since it's a state with a small population, that if they know somebody, well, you know what, there's probably not another judge. So they really don't recognize that here, because I myself have dealt with the case up in Aberdeen with a judge that knew the person who was suing me, and, that's a conflict of interest to be the judge of that, but that was what happened. So
Jesus.
So, but yeah, and then this child pornography dude was also given, the 180 days in jail with 80 suspended, so like 100 days. So that's, and just like, so I've been in jail in South Dakota, and I don't have a felony, but I was sentenced to 2 years in jail and 2 years probation, for eluding and reckless driving. Now, there were some other, like, I didn't get a lawyer because I was a fucking idiot at 19. Things like that didn't help my case. But at the same time, like, I actually sat a year in jail of that. And was, like, in probation for, 2 years on top of that. Jeez. Where I had to do breathalyzers every morning and night. And if you missed once, then you had to sit the weekend in jail or whatever. Didn't matter.
Jeez.
You were just, So yeah, you had to be, awake between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. no matter what. If you missed that time frame, you're fucked. You're going to have to sit in jail and explain why you missed. And yeah. So, and that's constant, It's a hard thing to deal with, like, the jolt of fear of, like, what the fuck time is it? I have to go! Oh, fuck, no, wait, I did that. Or it's not, So it was difficult, and this guy's not going to have to deal with any of that.
No.
But, so, I mean, it is definitely where you're at in your life when you get in trouble that matters a lot. I mean, for this guy especially, because, I mean, that's a slap on the wrist, so... If that, I mean, you can't even say that. It's he got off pretty scot-free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to be, golf buddies with the mayor, and not this mayor, the former mayor, Huther, back when they were buddies. So, yeah.
Anybody that's friends with Huther is,
there's a
suspect.
There's a petition online to get that judge removed, but everybody's attacking the judge. But my question is, why were 9 of the counts dropped? That they have him admitting now, I guess, that he just received an image, but he was sending stuff and posting stuff and sharing stuff with other people. I mean, and he didn't.
That's not the judge reducing that either on those 9 counts. That'd be like the district,
the prosecutor.
The prosecutors did that.
So that's the entire system working in his favor.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just a total, like, South Dakota once again successfully defends its title as the most corrupt state in America. Woo!
I don't want to attack his lawyer at all. I just want to commend his lawyer for doing a really good job.
I was going to say
that too.
He's doing his
available.
Job. So
what's his retainer?
If somebody ever needs him, you're not going to poo-poo him, but, he's Jesus Christ, you're doing your job way too well, sir.
Yeah, I guess I like this Stu Whitney from the Argus Leader quote from his editorial about it. Letting Sideras walk free in a high-profile case while our prisons swell with low-level drug offenders raises questions about double standards. There's no doubt that child pornography cases are complex and present prosecutorial challenges, but they have very real and infinitely vulnerable victims. So, yeah, on that bright and shiny note, let's get to the interview. Well, joining us today is Mitch Bartlett from Sioux Falls Central. Mitch, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sorry, I'm still jamming out. Well, I build websites. I've been making money off of ads on websites, and I've been wanting to make a Sioux Falls-based website for a while because I was originally born in Chicago, and the quality of sites there are just a little bit better than they are here, and I just wanted my vision of what a site should be in this major metropolis of Sioux Falls.
Yes.
So I'm currently working on that.
Very cool. What specifically made you go, like, I want a City of Sioux Falls like website? Why isn't it about duck hunting or about website building or a blog about, the unspeakable horror that lives underneath your house or something?
Well, I'd seen Kelloland and Argus Leader. There's a lot of things left out there that in their reporting. I'll give you an example. There was recently an employee of a major auto sales place that wrecked one of the cars and, had cocaine and hookers and
Jesus Christ.
And that didn't really get covered all that much. And
yeah, I didn't hear about it.
My belief is that maybe because Billion is a major advertiser, that major car sales place.
Well, there's a billion of them out there.
There's a billion of them out there, yes. But if you Google it, there's one little article. I kind of wanted something that, I thought would be more, where I could talk about those things that seem to be censored in other sources of media locally.
Sure.
So, when did you come from Chicago to Sioux Falls?
About 9 years ago. I came here because I got a job here that transferred me actually from Chicago to here. So I was supposed to stay here 5 years and thought I liked it and thought I'd stay.
Nice.
Met a girl who made me stay. That didn't help.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's how we get a lot of people. That's how we get you.
They trap you.
Yeah.
Those tall Minnesotan girls. Trap you. I'm a sucker for them.
Let's see. So that's one example of like a story you felt like was being ignored, stuff like that. Where do you think you're at with the website as far as like, I mean, do you, because I read through it and I'm seeing a lot about like, food and drink specials or just kind of like events going on, which is cool because I tried myself to put together like an events page or something like that for the Sioux Empire, and the sources are scattered all over the place. Nothing is integrated. Nothing is, or like if you find a good calendar, they don't actually keep it up to date, or it doesn't communicate with anything else. So it's just like I'm all for that, because it's just like the whole like being able to track, especially like live events or little stuff going on at each individual like bar or club or stuff like that. It's like non-existent here, which is weird because we're getting to the size now where we should really have a like city pages-esque kind of like something that tells people about what's going on.
Yeah, that's how I'm starting. I mean, I get into I want to get into the more serious stuff like what I just talked about. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff up there that's food and events, and I think that's really important and it's really needed. So I'm trying to suck some visitors in via that. Maybe post some daily food and drink specials, coupons and stuff like that, and I have you guys listed under the local podcast, even though I need to put pictures. I'm going to put some pictures of you guys up there. It's very dull right now, as you see, but
it's there though.
Yeah.
So you got Scott Hudson, good call.
Yeah.
Oh, one I don't know about, because I so obsessively stalk all podcasts that come out of Sioux Falls, and I keep a gigantic like directory of them, and that's one I am not aware of.
Feel free to post. And that's another thing. There seems to be lacking a place where people can freely blog about Sioux Falls. So I'm also inviting like even you guys, any of the listeners who want to write something, if you're a good writer and you want to write something about Sioux Falls, some of your thoughts, I mean really anything, I welcome you to visit the site and submit a post.
Cool. Let's see. I mean, you've got a photo gallery. What kind of submissions would you be looking for? Like, if we're putting this out here as something to like, if people are interested in writing stuff for it, what are you looking for? More investigative? Or are you looking for more like what's going on entertainment wise? Do you have anything in mind, or you got like anything Sioux Falls at this point?
Really anything Sioux Falls, but what seems to work best for people are reviews. Your experience with a business would be nice. Your experience just really going anywhere, maybe from a park to to Crawford's, going to a big restaurant. And I do have the photo gallery section, which is kind of, every site has pictures of downtown.
Yep.
I wanted something, why aren't we taking pictures of other areas, that aren't everything downtown? I got a burnt, the house that was burnt out there, or that was actually a business, and just little things, a viaduct in a park, you get a different view of Sioux Falls.
Ooh, you got some good shots of the ice storm.
Of the ice storm, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was on my block. I think these are more interesting than just the same boring pictures of, the courthouse or whatever.
Well, one thing that I'm gonna put a call to action out there for you folks. This summer, you guys should go out and whenever you're at a food truck, you should take a picture and write a little piece on Sioux Falls Central about it and say where they're at. Like, that would be dope. One that tracks them, and like, there's new food trucks. It seems like every season, every summer. So like, just to even know what's out there would be nice. So like, people make it happen. Yeah, that's something that would be cool.
Yeah, I've tried to do that as well, but it is hard without a large network of people to tell me.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need a large network or at least like one full-time person. That's what's tough for me. It's just like I'm working a full-time job while I'm doing all this other stuff. So it's just the actual like going out there and stuff like Jody Schwan from Sioux Falls Business, we had her on here, and she's got like full-time people and sending them out to all these restaurants. Because I was just like, your restaurant coverage is awesome, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do that. It's like I was trying to think of the last time I ate at a brand new place that had just opened that I've never eaten at in Sioux Falls, which is a shame because she literally puts out like there's 10 of them like every week practically that opens, and and I don't go to any of these new ones. I'm either eating at home or I'm like stuck in a rut with like the same places, and I really need to diversify more in what I do. But it just like you get busy, and then it's just like one person can't take on the world. But like you said, like if you expand a network a little bit, that
would be nice.
That can
I
help.
got a couple of people interested who should be helping me out here shortly, but the more the merrier.
Is there anything? Well,
You don't have to raise your hand, right? Or do? Oh,
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me personally. I don't have to, but I have to. Okay, so how you can go to Walmart and go to the, the service desk, and there's the fast track, which is like your app where you can essentially get a VIP and cut in line at the service desk, and that's something. And maybe that doesn't have anything to do with this. We were just kind of talking about it with the person there when the hubby and I went to go talk to the people there about this thing. But you can go to the pickup. Like not the I ordered some big furniture and I'm picking it up over here, but like I want someone else to do my shopping because Walmart's too people-y. It is, And, it's great that you have your milk and your yarn in that same building, yay! Unless you want cool yarn that's Joann's or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or one of those kind of things. But you can go to the pickup thing, and is there, or do you already have like an additional part on the page where this is where the introvert people can still get cool different stuff without having to go out and people?
That is something. Yeah, I actually have a couple of like nerdy places in Sioux Falls that I'm working on since I'm kind of a geek myself. Because I wanted to look like where can you game and play D&D. There's a place downtown somebody just told me about. I couldn't find it anywhere. So lists also. Like I'm looking for lists just like that of places for a certain type of person. So.
I think
college people.
I think Natasha should just like have a little like monthly or weekly post on the places that you can order like to go.
There you go.
And the places that will like get your shit ready and have it at the door and not people.
The best one is for IHOP because it says IHOP and go. Hey, crap.
Well, I have one for places that deliver food. If you saw it,
I want it.
So, everything that you don't have to go out and see people with. If you,
he's already got it.
Have you covered? Oh yeah, okay. Because DoorDash is here in Sioux Falls.
DoorDash just started here, and they got I think it's $1 special for delivery. So
because I order a lot from Bite Squad and Food Dudes.
That's
like
good.
Food Dudes for forever, and then Bite. I was going to ask you if you had Bite Squad on there yet, and you DoorDash.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Squad does Giliberto's.
I know.
Hit Squad does Fieros.
Yep.
Much a problem.
I have basically like that's the only way other than Boss's. That's the only pizza I order in the apartment now is Fieros.
Yeah.
I can actually get it delivery now.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, dude, that's my life.
We truly live in a golden age.
It's a little pricey, but
Climate change, but deliveries.
Yeah, they've got to wade through floodwaters and take a rickshaw to get it to me, but I get my food delivered here in the dystopian future.
Hey man, there were Lyft drivers, there will be Lyft captains, all aboard the boats.
There you go.
I want that.
Don't worry, we won't have to wait long. Oh.
Miami, it's like coming next week. No. Summertime.
It's ranch,
Can it be
pizza,
like
lamb.
Pirates on saying, I want that sandwich. No, I'm delivering it to somebody.
So are you saying you're willing to pay someone to go to Walmart for you? Is that
That's
too
entirely
much
possible.
pressure? Okay.
That'd be a viable business, yeah.
That's their big thing they're promoting with the whole like ad with the with all the fun cars from all the different movies and stuff like that, is that they've got that app now where, and I've thought about trying it, where you could just fill your cart on an app on your phone, set a time that you're going to be at Walmart, pull up to the curb at like stall 4, and they'll just fill your car with your stuff and you can go.
I think that's where all these brick and mortar businesses have to go now.
It's
compete with Amazon.
Yep, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Nobody wants to shop anymore. I don't think we've shopped at Hy-Vee in a year now.
Oh wow.
They deliver.
Oh, they do. Right. Yeah.
I keep saying I'm going to do that, and I never do it. But I'd save money because like you said, if the delivery is $5, it's like it actually saved me money because then I would spend less on Food Dudes and Bite Squad.
It's free for over $100.
The drivers love it, especially when you order several cases of water. They just love that.
You can get dance water from the tap. That's my joke. I made it up.
Really? Isn't it contaminated here?
Well, if you just like build up the immunity with happy
that's what we're
thoughts
doing.
from
Okay.
the universe with your magnetic thing, even though it's not how magnets work. It's woo shit that pissed me off, so I make fun of it sometimes.
That's deep.
There
That
you go.
woo shit. But no, this ain't Flint.
That woo shit. Yeah.
This is in Flint, Michigan. You can drink from the faucets. I choose not to.
I drink from the
I've
faucet and
not-
I'm not dead yet.
Drink it. I
don't
only
know.
drink bottled water. I do. I'm a freak.
Yeah, it just takes up too much room in your apartment, and there's less room for yarn and stuff.
See, I'm a consumer. I love consuming plastics, and so just like crumpling up, 90 some of those every week is just so gratifying. Because you can fit so many when you crumple them up in your trash can.
I like to imagine them making it to the ocean.
You can't do it when your fiance or significant other is having a migraine. No, it doesn't work.
But you can do
It's
the
shitty.
competing for
It's
like who
shitty.
can make the most noise.
Speaks from experience over
I
here.
was going to say that is a very specific story that clearly happened. Oh man, but no, that's cool. So yeah, lists, coupons. You getting into the couponing?
Yeah, this is pretty dope.
Yeah. I need to
mean-
put some photos on there, but I just wanted to get the information posted.
Sure. So, this is probably going to lose like all audience, but as a developer myself, is it WordPress or what?
is WordPress.
What's your backend? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Ooh, the developers are just rubbing their nipples right now in a very sexual...
yeah.
It's got a PHP backend. It's running light speed caching. And
Cash it, baby! Cash
It's
it
not
so
in Comic
fast.
Sans font, so I'm good.
I thought about it.
It's no nauseating text, so...
Looks like I need to thicken the fonts, though, on this big screen. It doesn't show up too well.
Yeah, I was gonna say part of it is nothing looks too great blown up that much on the screen, but
Screens are getting bigger, though.
true that.
Yeah, I need more colors. Need more photos.
Yeah, just
It is a work in progress. Right now, it's very more information.
What's your goal or like end game with it? Like when would you consider it like fully up and running, or consider it like this is what I was shooting for?
Once I have a network of people who want to contribute to it. I mean, I don't want it to be just all me and about my interests. I want a fair place where people can freely blog about Sioux Falls. And, 5 people would be great, and get maybe 1,000 visitors a day would be great as well.
Nice. Yeah, and I mean, I think the lists is a strong way to go. Getting the different amenities and stuff like that, because like when you move here, there's nothing like that available. It's all disparate, like different sites.
The official Sioux Falls City website, it's like a
well, that thing is
yuck.
They don't even have an RSS feed. I had to like basically, create my own monstrosity to pull news articles from there automatically.
And links are broken.
Yep.
Yeah. Sioux Falls Central, you won't get none of that weak judicial or governmental shit.
Yeah.
All our pages redirect properly.
Yeah. We have a functioning website because it's not 19 fucking 9.
Because it's not. Yeah, wait, yeah, anything to do with the government, whenever they make websites, it's just like...
Yeah, they don't have it down.
No.
But what's sick is they spend a fortune. Like this last redesign from like 4 years or whatever, that was Click Rain, and I know they spent like... Because I remember Scott Erishman spending... Scott Erishman being Scott Erishman just bitched about how much they spent on it. So every dime was accounted for because South Dakota blog was just kind of like they spend it on this and they spend it on this and here's who took it and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the city goes out of the state to hire people, it's like go fuck yourselves. Sioux Falls, not San Diego.
Right. But
the other SD.
The other SD.
the other SD. But, anything else that you'd like people to know about Sioux Falls Central and what you're hoping to accomplish with it?
Just please contribute if you can. I know we have the Reddit board that works pretty well, but, if something doesn't fit on the Sioux Falls Reddit board or you want to write more words, if you're wordy, if you're nerdy and like writing, contact me. Let's get in touch.
Very cool. I know it's just like, like the Sioux Empire, we tried to do like blogging for a long time. Like I was actually like paying contributors and stuff like that. And it's just like could never display ads versus what I was paying them. You could never make it like work.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's super rough. And I still know it's like nobody in town here yet has found the like working model for like the blogging part of it. It's just like I think it's going to have to be some kind of like coalition of like just interest in the community, kind of like volunteerism as much as it's going to be like a business model. But it's like it's something that needs to happen. We need like we need a city pages basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we were talking about last week how Sioux Falls doesn't have a main street or a square or right? Yeah. Or
yeah.
What do you? Yeah.
We don't have a town square.
Town square.
Town square.
That's what the word I was looking for. So this could be kind of like that landings.
Go ahead, Natasha.
Go ahead, Natasha.
I'm just going to brag again about West Side and how Rapid City's got a Main Street Square. It's called Main Street Square and everything.
Yes, Rapid City's very lovely and it has the Black Hills. Anyway.
See, exactly. I was going to say, like, the Black Hills had their culture. Sioux Falls is, like, just getting their culture in 2019. Where, yeah, I mean, it's, like, it's like, the Black Hills are just full of fucking shit that went down. Sioux Falls, it just feels like, and there are nice people here. But now in 2019, it's more like, all right, this is kind of a freaky place. It's got some smart, cool people that are doing weird things.
There's exciting things happening here.
Yeah, exciting, yeah.
It's not like it was in the 90s where it's just like Sioux Falls, or like my early college career, like around 2001, where everyone's just kind of like, Sioux Falls? I don't know. And it's like, then I left the state for, 10 years and came back and it was like, holy shit, Sioux Falls actually has like technology companies, especially like biomedical and stuff like that. It's like, damn. Mm-hmm. So we're moving on up. And with those growing times, we need some growing amenities, like a good blog that like lists all the shit.
Yeah. Going down. It's not in the news. Like, a billion of dudes out with billion hookers and put billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that, I think it's time for Shameless Plugs.
The Sioux Empire Podcast proudly presents this week's Shameless Plugs.
So, Mitch, this is the part of the show where you get to have your own little soapbox and just go ahead and tell people, it doesn't even have to be Sioux Falls Central, but tell everyone where they can find you, what projects you've got going on, social media, URLs, anything like that, events. Feel free. Just
all right.
Plug away.
Well, Mitch_Bartlett on Twitter, MitchBartlett.com is my personal blog. Sioux Falls Central, of course. What else? I also run Technopages.com, which is a how-to technical blog. Feel free to visit that if you're a techie person. Or, hook up with me on Facebook, Mitch Bartlett. That's my real name.
It's not some kind of artistic alias.
No, it's not like Prince or Madonna.
Your real name is like Frawn. And it's like the artist known as Mitch Bartlett.
That's right. I think that's it.
Very good. Natasha, do you have any shameless plugs this week?
Yes, the Spa 2000 is, of course, cool. Pick me. Let's pick me.
Very cool. Seth, you got any shameless plugs this week?
Well, I want to shamelessly plug Sioux Falls Central and
Thank
Mitch
you.
for being here. And I don't normally do this, but I have to do this because I'm just going to do this. But if you're thinking about a new dentist, I have to say, don't go to Smile for Siouxland. Sorry, you guys are crazy over there. I go to a nice place over by Hy-Vee in Minnesota, Dakota Dental. So if you're looking for a really great dentist, go there, not the other place, not Smiles for Siouxland. They did bad. You guys are bad.
Oh.
Some crucial things.
Maybe this will be a Sioux Falls Central article.
Maybe that could be actually
A good rant out of that.
Yeah.
Oh man, my fiance just had her wisdom teeth out, so I mean she has time to write. So and she's a good writer. I'm a shitty writer. So.
Yeah, your fiance has 2 episodes of the upcoming My Shameless Plug segue, Edge Case podcast, our sci-fi horror fantasy anthology audio drama podcast that will be coming out this fall. Like I said, your fiance has written 2 episodes of it, of the 14 that will be in season 1.
I am proud.
Yay! Let's see. An update on that. We have chosen the narrator. Our auditions are over. We had something like 36 applicants by the time it was all said and done. So, but in the end, there could be only one, and she decapitated the others. Yes.
Got him.
Oh, did I slip up and say she? So, yeah, that's going to be a surprise to a few people, but it's a female narrator. You're going to learn all about her in the coming weeks, but we are actually recording the trailer and the launch date announcement trailer for Edge Case this weekend in studio, so look for that. And then in the coming 2 weeks, be sure to watch out for our general casting call, which is going to be for 60 different parts that we need to fill, because it's an anthology, so you've got new characters in every episode. So, yeah, definitely did not realize how big of a commitment and a task I was signing myself up for in casting an anthology series. So, I won't be, sleeping much for the next 4 months. So, yeah, anyway.
Rob's the Netflix of Sioux Falls podcasts.
What, biting off more than I can chew?
Yeah,
out of my depth.
Greenlit, what's up? What's your name?
Hey, you want a podcast? Random person walking past out on the street.
Hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? Get in here.
Hey,
I got it.
Hey, I have reformed, man. I am down to only the 6 podcasts.
Yeah, you're really a junkie with only 2 needles in his arm. All right, I see. You're doing better.
Well, this time last year it was 12, so yeah.
the needles have halved, so that's good. That's
It'll be 14 by the end of the year.
Well, there was just this other one. It was my little
great idea. I just couldn't pass up.
I am now, and that's another shameless plug. I am now outsourcing that to Studio B, which is a great organization downtown where if you'd like to launch a podcast, they have a professional downtown studio with a great professional staff. And what it is they will get you started with like the first like 5 episodes or whatever of your podcast. And then if it takes off, it's kind of that like entrepreneurial spirit of like, you know, fail quickly or whatever, just to like test the waters. And if a concept doesn't work, they drop it. And then if it works, they'll like enhance it and build it out as its own thing. So if you want to try out your, podcast idea, I definitely, I still have the open door policy. If people have questions about podcasting, they want to learn about how to do it themselves, stuff like that, always feel free to contact me at thesioempire.com. But if you want to launch your own and want it like straight out of a box and to have someone do all the audio editing and all that kind of stuff for you, you just have a great story to tell or great content, be sure to reach out to Studio B. That's a good organization and really excited to see what they can do. So, let's see. Speaking of great organizations, the Sioux, if you like what we do here at the Sioux Empire, we would encourage you to, what we do with bringing you original local content. Be sure to check us out at patreon.com/Sioux Falls. That's a great way to support us. And a huge thank you to Matt Paulson for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you, Mitch, very much for coming on the Sioux Empire podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Natasha, for being here. And we will see you all next week.
See you later.